Hi everybody, Grandpa Ron again, and today we're going to be driving from the Loop, or just past the Loop, up to Logan Pass Visitor Center. Just to review the tips we've mentioned so far. Number one, don't be in a hurry. It's going to be slow, it's going to be traffic, so don't be in a hurry. Enjoy the scenery. Number two, stay on the trails. Don't climb over walls and go into risky areas. Obey the warning signs. Number three, watch for pedestrians, bikes, and motorcycles. Number four, be prepared. Bring water, snacks, a jacket or sweater, and shoes. When you get to the top, there's probably going to be snow, and it's very difficult to walk through the snow with bare feet or sandals. And number five, do not try to get close to wildlife. Stay away. Use your zoom lens and be safe. These are wild animals and unpredictable. We'll do some more tips when we get closer to the top.
From the Loop, I've gone up by trail and got clear up to the top, and then come down into that basin where the waterfalls is. That's Sacagawea Falls. That's the old name for it. They got another name for it. Birdwoman Falls today. This, very seldom, this will go completely dry, but it doesn't even have a name. For beautiful falls it is, it doesn't have a name. You'd think they'd have a name for it.
I'm going to name it right now, Ron Bryan Falls.
I've named. Oh, good. I've named lakes in Yosemite for myself. Bryan Lake wasn't named, so I named it. But anyway, we came down into that gully there. You can see. You see a little bit better when it gets up there. We were going to try to hike down to the top of the falls, but it was just too much of a, I don't know, down with a lot of trees, and it was too dangerous to do. We knew we had to go back up again, so we didn't make it to the top of the falls. So then we climbed up the back of Oberlin there, and that trail was just, it wasn't a trail. You just kind of hang on to trees onto the side and pull yourself up. I always enjoyed this view coming up and down this road right in this area. the road here. I'll show you when we get there, but way before I came, one of the snow plows had gone over the side, and it was still down there because they didn't have time nor money to get it out. So they left it down there, and there came a time, even before I started working up here, they sent somebody down there to see if they could get it and haul it out of there. And they found that Mr. Grizzly Bear had used a cabin on that big old snow plow and had used it for a den. So they said, well, no, I guess we won't. And so it's still down there. I'll show you when we get up there, the exact spot. This is a beautiful place. Weeping Wall that we're coming up. Well, that's on a little bit further up. This is Big Bend. Before I got up here, another year, a woman had slipped up there and fell and came down the falls, went into the tunnel and on down. So these things happen. People like to climb up there and they don't know how dangerous it is. It's slick out there. But they'll get out there, I don't know for what reason, take a picture maybe. Haystack Creek. That continually runs, that never stops. It's a real good shot of Heaven's Peak. There've been 4 vehicles go over the side since I've been up here. 2 motorcyclists. I'll show you where when we get up there. And another pickup truck went over. And then on the other side, there was a truck went over, and they didn't know what kind of a car it was, or truck. They didn't know. It was so banked up at the bottom. Usually the only way to get them out of there is by helicopter. People are excited to see all these snowfields still there in August, maybe. There you can see a little more view. Coming down there and on that where there's no snow, we walked right down there and couldn't get to the falls, so we went up Oberlin. Another one before I got here, they lost a truck right here. Through the embankment, or through the log here and over they went. That was before, because there wasn't anything left of the driver. Here, another van was going up, and why we don't know, but turned right in here and down he went. The van was loaded with 8 or 9 people from Canada. And I wasn't on duty that day, but they called everybody in because they had to had to close the road and get all the people out of it. Nobody was killed. The driver was pretty seriously injured, but they finally got them all out of there. They called me in to work because everybody else was helping on this accident up here to get them to the hospital. They finally got the van up, and that wasn't an easy trip. This is Big Bend. Weeping wall over here. It's always weeping. I think it would probably dried up the last 2 summers, however, but being so dry. There's a trail right here that these folks are on. Goes up and it meets the Highline Trail. A lot of people don't know that. And a lot of times we'll do that for kind of a shortcut. This is Myers Falls. Yeah, you didn't know. Triple arches. You can see why they named it that, can't you?
Yeah.
There's another falls that goes through unnamed, unless they call it Triple Arch Falls, but I doubt it. I even had the hubcaps of my patrol car scraped because I tried to get over there as close as I could, and this other guy who was coming, I tried to get away from him. That's what I was doing, because he was crowding the center line, and I could hear it on that side, and I thought, oh boy, I've ruined the side of this vehicle. And when I got out and looked up here ways, it was just the hubcaps that were bungled up, and I thought, oh boy. Now it was here, right down there is where that snow plow went, where all those, well, it's up there a quarter of a mile. And I could, when I was working up there, I could still see it down there. I can't now because a lot of growth has covered it up. But it's still down there. I've actually seen grizzlies down in the bottom here, because they like to come up there, and they get on up and go on up as far as they want to go. I've been up on the top of Reynolds from the back way, and as soon as we got up there, it started raining and lightning, and we said, this isn't the place for us to be. I managed to take one quick picture, and it was quick, and we started down, and we got down about 20 feet, 30 feet. It was cliffy on the other side like it is on this side, only not as bad. And the sun comes out, beautiful. Here we were going on the way down, we couldn't go back up, too tired. Oberlin Bend. Of course, they put a nice trail up here in a place where you can go up and take a look and see a good view. We didn't have that when my early days working up here. And it's a pretty popular area, as you can see.
We're getting close to the parking lot now, and time for tip number 7, which is be patient while you're looking for a space. I will guarantee you that you will be cut off and somebody will cut in front of you and take the spot that you want. But just be patient. You will get a place. Be friendly. It's sometimes hard to do. It can be a little frustrating. But when you get into this parking lot, unless you're there early in the morning, it's probably going to be very crowded, and you may have to drive around for a few minutes until you get a spot. But you ultimately will get a spot. And the parking lot area, it's not uncommon to see wildlife around the parking lot area. You might see bighorn sheep. I've inserted a picture later, some goats. But again, please stay away from those animals because they are unpredictable. Use your zoom lens, and even though they look sweet and nice and friendly, they're wild animals, so keep your distance from them. And this leads us up to tips 8 and 9, which is either use the free shuttle from below or consider taking a paid red bus tour.
Best way to do is to catch the shuttle bus down below and get it up here and then hiking. We've done that so many times, and then come back and get on the shuttle bus and go back home. Didn't have to worry about parking.
I hesitated to put this clip in, but I used a different camera and it got some moisture inside and I didn't realize it, but this is a view from just above the visitor center. There is a trail that leads to Hidden Lake, and that's one of the tips that will be included here in just a minute. You should try that. It's a nice walk. There is some elevation gain and some pretty steep steps, but most people should be able to make it back there. It's a beautiful view. There's snow most of the way, and so I would suggest you actually put on shoes. But I have seen people barefoot and in sandals hike all the way back there, but it's a pretty good hike. You might see animals like these. I took these photos on the previous trip, but it's not uncommon to see the bighorn sheep. This is the beginning of the Highline Trail. It follows the garden wall for miles, and most of the trail is very pleasant. This first part, though, is the most awesome. It goes right along the cliff, and even if you don't walk the whole trail, it's worth it to see this because it's very close to the visitor center. So from the visitor center, these two trails are very worthwhile. One to the Hidden Lake and one to the beginning of the Highline Trail. Very, very worthwhile. Should take advantage of those. And a special thanks to Ron Bryan for writing up with me and for his stories and comments. We really appreciate it. Until next time, Grandpa Ron saying bye-bye.